In 1939, as airlines were quietly celebrating their 21st year of existence, something unexpected occurred. The DC-3, pride of commercial aviation, capable of carrying 21 passengers at speeds nearing 200 miles per hour, was suddenly no longer needed for civilian travel. Not because a better airliner had arrived, but because the world required aircraft for a different purpose. Within months, familiar passenger planes were repainted, repurposed, and redirected. Comfortable cabins were removed to make space for equipment and supplies. What had once connected cities now served a far larger global demand. Commercial aviation paused, while aviation development accelerated at an unprecedented pace. In just 6 years, flight technology advanced more rapidly than in the previous 4 decades combined. This is the story of how global conflict reshaped aviation and quietly created the modern airplane. Historical positioning. In our last chapter, we explored how airlines grew from humble mail routes into international networks. Now we arrive at a turning point. The years between 1939 and 1945 marked a period of extraordinary transformation. While the world faced immense challenges, our focus remains on the engineering revolution that emerged technologies that would later define safe, fast, and reliable air travel. This is Chapter 3 of Aero History, the era that changed wings forever. Aviation in 1939. To understand the scale of change, we must first look at aviation as it existed in 1939. Commercial aircraft were powered by piston engines and propellers, cruising at modest speeds and relatively low altitudes. Flights were planned around daylight and clear weather. Navigation depended on visual landmarks, and radio communication was limited. Most airfields were simple grass or dirt strips. Military aircraft shared much of the same technology. They were faster and stronger, but fundamentally similar in design. Then, almost overnight, aviation became a top priority. Governments invested enormous resources, compressing decades of experimentation into a few short years. The result was a wave of innovation that touched every aspect of flight. The materials transformation, one of the most important changes, occurred not in the sky, but in factories. Early aircraft were built using traditional aluminum structures that balanced strength and weight. New demands required aircraft that could fly higher, faster, and longer. Engineers developed advanced metal alloys capable of withstanding extreme heat and stress. These materials became essential for new propulsion systems and high-altitude flight. Pressurized cabins also emerged during this period, allowing aircraft to operate comfortably far above previous limits. These structural advances would later enable commercial airliners to fly smoothly at cruising altitudes that are now routine. Propeller technology reached new levels during this era, with designs becoming larger, stronger, and more efficient. Aircraft that once used simple wooden blades evolved to sophisticated multi-blade metal systems capable of translating immense engine power into thrust. At the same time, a revolutionary concept was taking shape: the jet engine. Developed independently by engineers in Europe, jet propulsion offered greater speed with fewer moving parts. Early jet aircraft demonstrated capabilities far beyond piston-powered planes. While these early designs were limited in number, they revealed the future direction of aviation. Meanwhile, piston engines continued improving, delivering power levels previously thought impossible. These advancements directly influenced post-conflict airliners, enabling faster, longer, and more reliable passenger flights. Before this period, flying in poor visibility or at night posed serious challenges. New technologies changed that reality. Detection systems originally designed to identify distant aircraft evolved into tools that helped pilots navigate through clouds and darkness. At the same time, instrument-based flying became standardized. Pilots learned to rely on onboard indicators rather than visual cues. Training systems simulated real flight conditions, allowing pilots to master these skills safely. These developments formed the foundation of modern flight operations and dramatically improved reliability. Perhaps the most visible legacy of this era remains on the ground. In 1939, airports were modest facilities. By the mid-1940s, thousands of paved runways spanned the globe. Standardized runway layouts, lighting systems, and control procedures were developed to handle increasing traffic. Airfields expanded to include maintenance facilities, fueling systems, and organized terminals. Many of today's major international airports began their lives during this period, later transitioning seamlessly into civilian use. Aircraft production also underwent a fundamental change. Before this era, planes were built largely by hand. New demands required speed, consistency, and scale. Assembly line production techniques were adapted for aviation. Standardized components, precise tooling, and quality control systems ensured aircraft could be built quickly and reliably. These methods reduced costs and improved durability. After the conflict ended, these same manufacturing principles made commercial aviation more accessible and sustainable. By 1945, the world possessed three unprecedented assets: advanced aircraft designs, a global airport network, and a vast workforce trained in aviation operations. Passenger aircraft returned to service with improved systems, experienced crews, and enhanced reliability. Larger aircraft were redesigned for comfort and long-distance travel. Jet propulsion, once experimental, began its transition toward civilian use. Although early jet airliners faced challenges, they proved that high-speed global travel was achievable. The technologies refined during this period quietly laid the groundwork for the jet age that followed. The lasting legacy. So what did these 6 years ultimately give modern aviation? Pressurized cabins that allow comfortable high-altitude flight, jet propulsion that makes intercontinental travel routine, navigation systems that guide aircraft safely through all conditions, runways and traffic coordination that support global connectivity, efficient manufacturing that makes air travel widely available, training standards that keep passengers confident in the sky. Every flight today carries the influence of this era. From the cabin environment to the systems guiding aircraft home, these innovations continue to shape the experience of flight. What began as solutions to urgent challenges became the foundation of a connected world. With these advancements in place, aviation was ready to enter its most elegant chapter. If you want to be part of this journey through aviation history, subscribe to Aero History. The story of flight continues with you.